Hello, welcome to Farm Talk. And once again, we're talking Droughtmaster. I made it all the way to East London. And if I got my facts right, this must be the first Droughtmaster auction on this side of the country. And I'm going to ask Keith about being a pioneer in the breed in this area and about their sale, the pioneer breed sale, and the few uh, bulls that he is putting on sale, where it comes from, and what got him into this lovely breed. Keep, how are you?
Tinas, I'm very well, thank you, man. Welcome here to East London, to Peinke Ranch. Lovely to have you here with us.
Always great being here. And it seems like the rain is following me everywhere.
Yeah.
Keith, let's get started. Keith, you've always been known, as long as I know you, as a Boran breeder. Something got attracted your eye towards this breed, of the Droughtmaster breed. What was that you thought, listen, this will make sense in my area, in my way of thinking about cattle, and how I'm going to go forward as a cattle breeder in South Africa?
Tinas, we had been involved with the Boran breed for a number of years, and we were looking to diversify and diversify in a small way. And we obviously looked at the Droughtmaster breed in terms of the traits that we felt the Droughtmaster breed had that could complement the area that we're in. And obviously comparing them to a lot of other popular breeds across the country, some of the things that stood out for us was the uniformity in the cattle, the smoother coats, slightly more indica scalp, a little bit more ear. So for us, looking at those particular traits, we kind of feel it's a really good match for the environment that we have, the conditions that we experience, the high tick loads that we have along the coast. And so far, the decision has been the right one up until now. We've enjoyed having that part of our farming diversity has so far been a good one.
Uh, I've seen a few bulls. I think about 4 videos of bulls that come through, and hoping later today when the sun comes out to see them in real life. But if I look at it, you can see that uniformity already. You can see the quality, but it is not, as I say, huge, big framed bulls. These are as I would say, economically viable animals, and it seems like in this area, this is where people should be thinking of going. It isn't the easiest place to farm.
Yeah.
And it's something I couldn't say if I drive there. I'm not sure what to make of the flora around the hill area. You can see it's sour, you can see it's tough, but it's a little bit different than the rest of the country, isn't it?
Tinas, we obviously, being not too far from the coast, generally high rainfall area, but with that comes the sour felt. So in general it's high carrying, but it obviously has its challenges with extremely high tick loads. So another reason that the Droughtmaster breed fitted in with our farming operation, so the breed having the smoother coats, slightly more medium framed animals, fits in and complements our Boran cattle as well. So farming these two breeds side by side, it really brings the best out in both breeds. And like I mentioned earlier, that diversity has given us both a new respect for the Boran cattle that we farm with, but at the same time, an exciting future with having the Droughtmasters involved. And like you mentioned, the bulls that we're offering this year, they are uniformed. They come from different bloodlines, albeit there is one or two that are related, either half brothers or full brothers. But in general, you can see by some of the video footage that we have as a group, you can see the constitution of the animals, the uniformity of the animals, and at this stage, I'm going to say they're a work in progress, because obviously it is our first time that we're going to be selling Droughtmasters, and we have a plan on how we want to go forward and the type of animal that we want to put into the market. But the most important thing is we're going to breed an animal that we want to have here, that an animal that suits our farming operation, that suits our management, that suits the environment, and an animal that can do well for others, both from a productive perspective, because ultimately that's what it's all about, breeding animals that are productive and that can do well for for other farmers.
If I look at the catalog, there's really a few bulls that should be or could be stud bulls. You should the big that who buys it. But I think I did, and I think you might have the same feeling. You want people in your area from this area to go and buy this bull and just see the difference the Droughtmaster could make or can make for you, and the difference it should make in their herd, especially from a commercial point. They're saying, listen, this is what one bull can do on 40 cows for you in here, and if you AI with it, probably a lot more. That is actually the ideal thing to say. Buy a Droughtmaster from this area, put it into your commercial area, just see what quality these animals actually are.
Tinas, we've seen it with our Baran cattle, how well they do across the country and how well they adapt coming from this area. And it's no different with what we're trying to achieve in the Droughtmasters. Yes, ideally, from a sustainability perspective and from a growth perspective, having as many local commercial farmers investing in our genetics and buying into the Droughtmaster breed, that is certainly first priority. That is what we're trying to do. We don't want to short sell any of our, call it, better quality bulls, and if they do, and we're blessed enough for them to land up in other stud breeders across the country, that it will be fantastic. But our real main goal here is to grow the breed in this area, to show the commercial farmers the positive impact that the Droughtmaster breed can have in their commercial operations.
Let's just start there. We spoke about the one or two bulls that you really didn't lot to. I know Marius, Barkhuis and Christopher both said this is a sort of bull that should actually stay on the farm. Starting those sort of bulls so early on, not an easy decision, but it is also says something about the quality, because you're not part of the breed that long, and this is already the sort of bulls that's coming through. Although that some of the bulls are because you bought them with their mother, sweetheart, but that is already the quality that's coming through. You bought the mother, and the cow next to is already a bull, and that says something about just how well these things breed in percentage-wise.
Yeah, Tinas, look, it helps us having a platform such as the Pioneer Cell to be able to start introducing the Droughtmaster. So we're very fortunate in that regard. We mustn't forget that we have that platform to work from. But looking at how the bulls have come through, the bulls that we obviously have got on offer, some of them have come through from an embryo program, so cows that we bought, that we flushed, that have really produced well. And then we identified cows that had really good weaner calves at foot when we purchased those mothers, showing us that their ability to breed bulls was already there, which is very important for us. And we believe that those are the cows that we want to invest in terms of flushing and going forward and building our brand. So it is exciting, obviously, to have this group of bulls, and very, very thankful that there are one or two that have been identified as potential herd sires. As you mentioned, lot number 2 is a bull that was spoken quite highly from some of the breed inspectors and breed advisors and a lot of the other farmers that we had at our Farmers Day a few weeks back. Lot number 1 is a bull that I rate highly, a bull that we've actually used in the herd. The reason for me, or the reason for us, that it's so easy to be able to actually sell these bulls and not keep them on the farm is, we are still so small. Our female herd is still growing, so to keep the bulls back almost doesn't seem right. I think the only way for this breed to actually gain momentum and to actually get out into the commercial market is if we actually get those bulls out there. If we offer those better bulls, and by all accounts, if those really top bulls land up in commercial herds, I can only see it being something that's going to be extremely positive, both for us here as well as the breed countrywide.
Keith, we spoke earlier about the bulls and the embryo programs you run, and then we add into a little program. If you look at the cattle, we say we've got reserve weight of 500 kgs. Now a lot of people will go, you mean only 50 plus kgs? Yeah, 500. That's 5 kgs. That doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound like it's something that should be and would be in. If you look at your normal stats, or probably flip your stats around a little bit. How How did it go about it? You booked a car or 55?
55. Tennis, we had this discussion at the Farmers' Day. It was something that I was nervous about, if I'm really honest, because we chose specifically that bull to discuss on the day, and we knew that the farmers that were present would pick up on it, they would see it on the big screen, and would be a topic that was discussed. And I think what the main goal of that was to show our transparency, to show the fact that we take pride in being honest and having good integrity. We realize that in stud breeding, you've got one name, and being loyal, being honest to your clients, being honest to the people that are going to be potentially your clients, and giving that information that is 100% accurate is far more important in the long term than it is just on a short term and potentially the sale of one animal. So in this particular case, lot number 2 has got a birth weight of 55 kgs. And we put it down to 2 of the main reasons. So he was an embryo calf, and his surrogate mother was a Simbra cow that was a 700 kg Simbra cow. Unfortunately, from our perspective, we don't have, or at that stage, we didn't have a lot of recipient cows available. So we bought what was available to us at the time. And we happened to buy some Simbra cows, and by all accounts, too big for this area, but they worked really well. And this calf was born from one of those Simbra cows. So she was a very big cow to start off with. And secondly, the gestation of that particular embryo calf, he went to just over 300 days. In fact, we had to actually induce that cow that she would calve. So when you consider the fact that that calf is, give or take, anything from 17, 18 days further in the gestation, kind of adds up and makes sense that a bigger framed recipient cow mixed in with the fact that he's gone so far overdue, that the accuracy of the true birth weight of that particular genetic combination is probably and most definitely not what you see on paper. But we felt it important that that's what he was born at, that's what the birth weight was, and that's what we've put in the catalog. It isn't ideal to have to discuss and talk about these things. You'd like the information to be there, and people kind of understand why that birth weight is like it is. We're very confident that that particular bull, both phenotypically and also from a pedigree perspective, is out and out stud quality, and we're confident that that bull will throw calves that are more relative to the average size rather than to those extremes.
But that is something that, as a young breed, needs to be considered. But some people use as Jersey because it's got a little milk. Others use in Goonies because it's got traits they want on there. Sure, as carriers are very fertile, and those the recipients will have an influence on the initial EBV stats that it is all put in place. Particularly the birth out, the birth rates, sort of small stats.
No, your recipients will influence birth weights to a degree. There's no doubt about that. After all, embryo transfers and programs is not a natural process. So there's always going to be a few things that will be different from time to time. And it is something that we've experienced both in the Droughtmaster breed as much as in the Baran breed. We often have cases where recipients go well over due date, and the birth weights correlate to that as well. So it is something we deal with, but at the end of the day, when you look at the genetic value that you're getting on those embryo calves, it all makes it worth it in the long run.
We come to lot number 3. I think, how did you choose? What is it that you want to see from a point of view? If you see the bulls, you've got this video of all of them walking together. You see the size, they're almost the same height, the early maturing. What is it that you like to see in bulls, and what is it that you're trying to be and provide for your, let's say, for your commercial market, especially if you think this is where we're going economically, this is where we're going as a breed, and this is why the Droughtmaster is going to make sense.
Yes, if you look at lot number 3 in particular, he's the type of bull that we are looking to breed more of. He's got a very sleek coat. He's got a little bit more ear. Fair enough, in this case, he's maybe a fraction taller on the leg than some of the other bulls. But for me, what's the standout for him, not necessarily phenotypically of the animal, but knowing what I know about his mother and the type of animal that she is, a very moderate framed cow. She's just an animal that is super fertile. She's functional, and she's the type of animal that I believe is going to take the breed forward. So her number is OW17286, and she's one of our donor cows. She's a daughter out of C1314, and we purchased that cow from Stompie Olivier from Hotspot. And when she came here, she gave birth to what was then now PR 2211, which is lot number 3. And since then, we've flushed her very successfully and with different combinations. But she's just one of those cows that seems to produce no matter what combinations we try. And again, it's a bull that I had my, let's say, ideas about keeping, retaining, and using. But like I said earlier, our herd is only so big, and I believe a bull of that quality is going to do the Droughtmaster breed as much as Peinke Ranch Droughtmaster is far better being out in either the commercial herds or in perhaps the stud herd. But that is the type of animal that we looking to continue to breed going forward into the future. Animal that suits this environment where we have the higher tick loads. Obviously, our summers, a lot of humidity. I've mentioned about the fact that we're generally in a higher rainfall area. So animals that are slightly more indicus type, slightly more ear, those smoother coated animals, and obviously try to breed an animal that's balanced in a more moderate frame.
Keith, you've got quite an interesting time of day for having an auction 5 o'clock. But that gives the guys come down at 11 in the morning and spend the whole day amongst the animals and actually do their homework and come and see. And that actually makes quite nice for everyone in the area, all those who needs to come fly and maybe want to buy a stud bull from you, to come and drive here and just see what it's all about, why you like it so much, and why they should maybe just see for yourself, as they'll say.
But I guess the concept of a night auction, it seemed exciting at the beginning and doing it, and with having said all of that, it actually makes the day for us as sellers a lot less stress. I know the 11 o'clock starts. It's you sort of wake up and you get going, but the nighttime auction, effectively late afternoon auction, starting at 5 o'clock. We'll be starting the auction with the Droughtmaster bulls. What's really nice about the week leading up to the auction is that all the schools across the country are basically on holiday because of the public holidays that are mixed in between. So right from the Monday right to the Friday, all schools are on holiday. So that does give people an opportunity to actually make a bit of an extended holiday or a weekend of it to come down and be a part of the sale. And it does give a lot of the local farmers an opportunity get their work done in the morning, and then they're able to actually attend the auction rather that's a bit later on in the day rather than having to interrupt the Friday. So it has a lot of people talking about it in a positive sense. I'd love to say that it actually kind of caters for everyone, but I think sometimes that's impossible. But for us, it's worked, and that's sort of the concept that we're going to be sticking with for this year.
Yeah. If we look, it's on the Saturdays. It's a Friday afternoon. But it does also, as you say, it does give people the time and the space to do it. But you've got a whole team running around with you. Just a little background. Look on their phone. Show me who's everybody involved in what. Okay, so I'm gonna go about it.
So our auctioneering agents for the Pioneer Cattle Breeder Sale, it's Paul Hobson and his team from Hobson and Co. So if you're looking to get hold of Paul, you can actually just go onto their website, www.hobsonandco.co.za. From our side, you can obviously contact, or you can find Peinke Ranch on Facebook and Instagram. From our marketing team, we've got Nicola from Media Brood, and we've got Elriza Alberts from Elriza Alberts Bemarking. Our auctioneer for the day will be Mr. Johan van der Nest. I think most cattle farmers around the country know Johan. And then, if there's anybody else that wants to contact me directly regarding, the Droughtmaster animals, or obviously any of the others, they can contact me on 084 9411 341.
Okay, there you have it. Keith is quite a meticulous guy. I can tell you, if he does the Droughtmasters as well as he does the Burren, you are definitely in for something special.